Welcome. My name is Matt Bautel, and in this unit we're going to be learning about adapters. All right, so let's take a look at our app here. So we're gonna start off with a whole bunch of apps here that use what are called list views, right? So you can see here we have a whole bunch of rows, and in which the format of each one is replicated, right? So it's basically the same thing over and over again. We'll start off with it just having a hard-coded fixed number of them, and then we'll learn how to, if we click a button to add a view, how to get more of them, right? So that they actually grow up, and so that we have so many that we even have to scroll through them, right? What we'll then do is learn about how to put listeners on these guys. So if we click on one of them, it's going to tell us which one we clicked here. So we click on row 7, and it tells us that we pressed row 7. From there, all right, then we're going to learn how to actually customize these views so they can look very differently, looking at buttons and images, right? And then we'll get into compound list views, right? So where each one of these guys is actually a linear layout within it, and then finally we'll put some nice formatting on it using some XML. And our final goal is to get an app that looks like this one over here on the right. So if you want to see this final one running, let's take a look here. All right, so this guy starts off with a few. We click Add View, and it's going to add months one at a time, right? And see if you're going to scroll down, and we see that if we scroll, it gets down to December and then wraps back around to January, and so on. And we could add as many as we liked. All right, so that is the whole idea. How are we going to get there? What are we going to learn, right? So by the time that we are done, we're going to get very good at using list views, right? So any kind of an app that uses a list view. We're going to start off with doing some ones that use very simple array adapters. I mean, we can be up and running with something very simple just within a few moments, right? So good stuff. We'll learn how to listen to clicks on them. A lot of our time we're going to be doing extending the base adapter class, right, and seeing how we can make the adapter do exactly what we want it to do, and then creating custom row views as we see here, and then we'll wrap up with actually going back and extending the array adapter class. All right, so what is an adapter? Right, so an adapter essentially is a class, right? It's a construct that is going to start off basically with taking some kind of data on one side, and it's going to take a single view, and it's going to use those things together to replicate and make a whole bunch of views, right? One per element, right? So this formula here is sort of, one layout plus many items plus an adapter gives you many views, right? So what might that look like here, sort of as a picture, right? So in our app, what we're going to have is we're going to have a data source, which simply is just going to be an array, right? And then we're going to take a blank view, so a single one right here, and feed these guys into the adapter, which you can think of as we have a little clip art here of a factory, right? So it's sort of building or churning out other views that then get kicked into the guy over here, which is called an adapter view, and specifically the one that we're looking at right here is a list view. All right, so that's the whole format. Just to give you a heads up that a lot of these things we're going to look at a lot of different kind of views to make. We'll look at a couple different data sources, but we'll be continuing that in future units. And then also there are a number of different views, so list view is not the only one. In fact, let's take a look at a couple of them right now. So adapter views can also have some other things. So basically anything that has multiple subviews that are very similar. So we got some examples. So this is probably one of the most popular ones, and that's the grid view, right? So just displaying a bunch of image thumbnails like this. Spinners, it turns out, also use very much the same thing. So these little drop-down guys also use are a type of adapter. And then even there's a little tutorial in Google that teaches you how to do autocomplete, and it turns out that the process of doing autocomplete is also very similar because you need to tie it into some data source for the autocomplete. All right. So in our next lesson, we're just going to jump right in and get a list view with an array adapter working very quickly. We'll see you then.